The king knew that the mother dragon could only lay 3 eggs in her lifetime, but in the end, only 1 dragon could survive. But at the moment when the young dragon hatched, the king still ordered mercilessly to let the soldiers kill the 3 young dragons who had just been born. With a terrible scream, the king suddenly alerted the ancient evil dragon in the cave. The king, who sensed that something was wrong, hurriedly asked the soldiers to stay in formation and waited. However, what was waiting for them was the flame of the ancient evil dragon. It just burned all the soldiers into ashes in an instant. The terrifying scene in front of him suddenly made the king understand that mortals could not bear the anger from the evil dragon at all. So he kneeled down without hesitation and begged for mercy, hoping to get the forgiveness of the sacred giant dragon. He was even willing to pay any price for it. The king ordered the 3 descendants to pay back the pain of his death and stipulated that every successor after the king had to offer up their 3 daughters before ascending the throne to pay homage to the demons of the young dragon. However, the giant dragon underestimated the cunning of humans in order to ensure that the royal bloodline would not decline. The soon-to-be successor, the prince, hurriedly threw the starry sky into the abyss. Fortunately, the plants in the deep pit were in full bloom, which helped Yiluodi to slow down the speed of the fall. This did not make him lose his life. I don't know how long he was in a coma. Yiluodi just woke up, looking for an exit smaller than a star. He began to scream loudly, hoping that someone could find it with a conscience. But the sound he made suddenly opened his eyes. Yiluodi screamed for a while. He found that no one cared about him at all. He desperately wanted to survive, but he was shaking and slipping around. He wanted to escape from here. It was like a nightmare. After a careful search around, Yiluodi found that he was fine. The first person who was trapped was surrounded by unknown fear in his heart. At this time, a fire suddenly appeared in the faraway cave. Yiluodi carefully walked into the cave and found a bird on fire. He tried to use the earth to save it. Although the fire was extinguished, the bird could not survive. When Yiluodi felt sad for the death of the bird, the next scene completely blinded him. The birds were running around, trying to put out the flames on their bodies. Unfortunately, it was in vain. Yiluodi didn't know what happened. He was scared and stood still, but he didn't find the awakened evil dragon. It had quietly appeared behind him. Yiluodi sought refuge from the dead mother. The evil dragon repeated after hearing it. Yiluodi was scared and ran away. He didn't expect that there would be a dragon here. He didn't expect that the other party would still speak. In this way, 1 person and 1 dragon started a chase battle at high speed. Yiluodi was agile, but his legs were still burned. In order to survive, he had to endure the pain and continue to move forward. Suddenly, a silver tree appeared in front of him. But what was strange was that the light was not a leaf, but a kind of never-seen bug. It was disgusting. Yiluodi turned it into a lighting tool, but he didn't expect that this strange little thing would have a magical effect. Suddenly, Yiluodi hid in a cave. He was exhausted, and soon fell asleep. When he woke up from a nightmare, he found a hazy screen on his scalp. The girl suddenly found a blue bug on her wound. She was so disgusted that she wanted to pull it down. But she didn't expect that when all the bugs were thrown aside by her, she was shocked to notice that the wound burned by the evil dragon had healed. At that moment, a bold idea came to her mind. She put the bug on the injured arm again. Until she saw the bug with her own eyes, she healed her wound. Yiluodi's heart was heavy. He swore to leave here and seek justice for himself and the girls he had sacrificed. The evil dragon was chasing after him. He didn't have much time left for Yiluodi. He turned around in the cave and found a map on the wall. It was left by a girl named Victoria. Yiluodi was delighted at the moment, because it meant there was hope for life. According to the time and speed of his escape, and the map on the wall, Yiluodi deduced that he was currently in a safe place. As long as he kept going, he could find a crystal. That's where the exit is. With the target and direction, Yiluodi was no longer confused. He took out a dagger and left his name on the wall. It was used to encourage himself to be brave. Yiluodi was careful. He was afraid that the evil dragon would rush out from somewhere. Fortunately, he was safe this time. Yiluodi came to the bottom of the crystal. The long-awaited sunshine shone on his face. He also shed tears. Although the exit was less than 100 meters away from the ground, the crystal on the wall increased the difficulty of the escape. They were in a wrong place. They seemed to be on guard for something. Yiluodi picked up a crown on the ground. He guessed it was left by Victoria, but he didn't see the sea drum around. This means that the other party may have successfully left. With the example of the previous success, Yiluodi suddenly had the courage. So he tore off his clothes and tied them to his hands and feet. This increased friction and prevented him from being scratched by the crystal. Then he started climbing with the crown. Yiluodi climbed very fast with his hands and feet. At this time, the evil dragon also found here. He didn't spit fire, but kept his hands down quietly. When Yiluodi fell into his mouth, who knew that when he climbed to 2/3, the crystal under Yiluodi's feet suddenly broke. He lost his strength. He could only rely on the power of his hands. He was shaking in the air. The evil dragon looked at this scene and his happy pupils were magnified several times. At this time, Yiluodi was in a very bad situation. The weight of the whole body plus the shaking left and right, the crystal on his hands also began to break. While he was falling quickly, Yiluodi also opened his mouth. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the crown played a huge role. Yiluodi used the super strong force to move his whole body up again. The evil dragon didn't get what he wanted. Fortunately, he came up with other ideas. I don't know how long he climbed. Yiluodi finally climbed to the top. The huge physical consumption made him feel that his whole body had fallen apart. But looking at the exit in front of him, he still walked forward. At this moment, he was excited. As a result, he was blind in the next second. A few thousand meters above the cliff, he couldn't even see a bird. Not to mention the success of escaping. One step forward is a broken bone. The way back is a dead end. In any case, it's a dead end. The close distance between the two men once again put Yiluodi in despair. At this moment, he suddenly found a few thousand meters away at the foot of the mountain. Someone was riding a horse, so he immediately began to shout loudly. In addition, the cold wind caused his voice to be mercilessly blown away. But the people under the mountain didn't hear it. The evil dragon heard it clearly. He suddenly launched an attack. He almost ran into Yiluodi face to face. Fortunately, the exit was narrow. Yiluodi only dodged a blow. At this time, he also found the words on the wall behind him that were not safe. There was also a burnt corpse lying next to him. It was Victoria who didn't run away. The evil dragon opened his mouth at this time. After saying that, the evil dragon began to create a fire. He planned to burn Yiluodi to death here. Unexpectedly, a call came out. It attracted the attention of the evil dragon. Yiluodi picked up a life again. He began to listen carefully to the voice. He found that it was his father. The four people who just appeared at the foot of the mountain were the father and the knight who invited him. It turned out that the marriage was about to be discussed. The father had long known the conspiracy of the queen's family, but at that time, the other party promised to double the supplies and gold coins for the people who were suffering from the cold in the country. The father could only bear to sell Yiluodi. Later, his conscience was always uneasy. That's why he spent money to hire people and found a piece of jewelry scattered all over the place. There were 3 bodies of the evil dragon. At this time, Yiluodi's mind suddenly remembered the story of the first king and the evil dragon that the queen had told before. In the popular version, it was the evil dragon's blood-sucking tyranny that forced every ruler of the country to sacrifice 3 princesses to look at the corpse in front of him. Before thinking about what the evil dragon said, Yiluodi found that this was a lie. The protagonist of the blood-sucking tyranny was not the evil dragon, but the first king. It was he who led the soldiers to break into the cave and killed the 3 evil dragons who had just broken the shell. Everything in the world is full of poison. As a mother, the evil dragon saw his child being killed. The king was furious and killed all the soldiers on the scene. The king could only kneel and beg for mercy. The evil dragon chose to let him go. The condition was that he had to sacrifice 3 princesses every year to let the king and his descendants feel the pain of their own. Unexpectedly, the king chose to use the method of deceiving his wife to let the innocent little princess pay for the cruelty of his ancestors. After understanding the story, Yiluodi decided to find his father first and then discuss how to expose the queen's conspiracy. But he was still a step late. Before the evil dragon caught up with him, he found traces of his father and others. When he saw the other party holding a weapon, the evil dragon may have remembered the scene of the young boy's tragic death. The evil dragon once again killed the evil dragon. He didn't waste his power and killed the knight hired by Yiluodi's father. Even though the other party was in great danger, his father didn't back down at all. He took out his weapon and prepared to fight with the other party. But in the end, he was still powerless. The disparity in strength between the 2 parties was too great. Before the father could get close to the evil dragon, he was rolled into the air by the other party's tail. Then he was thrown to the ground. The evil dragon asked his father to call Yiluodi out and let him go. Yiluodi was hiding behind the stone pillar at that time. He knew he couldn't go out. In that case, his father and himself would die. He thought that as long as he didn't expose himself, the evil dragon would think that his father was still useful. He wouldn't kill him for the time being. Under the threat of the evil dragon, Lu Jing finally opened his mouth. But he didn't let Yiluodi out, but let him hide. The evil dragon was completely enraged. The girl witnessed the evil dragon stabbing her father in the back. She was so terrified that she couldn't help but cry out in despair. Who knew that the next second, the voice was captured by the evil dragon? The evil dragon was getting closer and closer to the sound. Yiluodi hurriedly backed up, but when he was about to be discovered, he hid himself in a very good direction. Suddenly, he slipped and made a lot of noise. Seeing the evil dragon being attracted to leave, Yiluodi quickly ran to his father's side. His father told Yiluodi that when he was entering the cave, he left a rope for the exit. The cave entrance was also prepared with horseshoes. He told him to hurry and leave for the beach. His stepmother and sister were waiting there. His father's injury was too serious. After taking a deep breath and finished the matter, he was relieved to leave this world. After Yiluodi kissed his father's forehead, he quickly climbed on the rope. After discovering that he had found the wrong person, the evil dragon killed him quickly. Yiluodi used all his strength to climb up. He finally dared to burn himself with the flame. He escaped the dangerous cave. He didn't dare to stop for a moment. He ran forward on his horse. But the evil dragon didn't intend to stop. It was still chasing after him. Yiluodi decided to change his strategy immediately. He jumped off the horse and hid in the pile of stones. Then he watched the evil dragon spit out the flame and burn the horse into a candle. Unexpectedly, the evil dragon was also a bold man. When he checked the result, he found that there was no corpse of Yiluodi. He guessed that the other party was hiding, so he flew into the air and kept spitting out the flame. In no time, he became a volcano. The queen saw this in the castle. Not only did he not reflect on his actions, but he also blamed the evil dragon on Yiluodi. In order to calm down the anger of the evil dragon, the queen decided to trap a girl again. And the target she chose was Yiluodi's sister, Floria. Jimmu tried to stop her, but was stabbed by the queen's soldiers. Then they came to the cave. At this time, Henry realized that Floria was too young and tried to persuade the queen not to sacrifice innocent people again. But the queen was already in a panic. She thought it was her duty and Henry's. The prince protects his kingdom without hesitation or complaint. After that, he planned to break the palm of the two again. But Henry didn't agree with anything this time. The queen thought it was cowardly. Then he broke the palm of himself and Floria. After the blood was mixed, Floria was thrown down. At the same time, Yiluodi, who had escaped, was about to go down the mountain. But he met Jimmu on the way. After learning that his sister was taken as a scapegoat, Yiluodi stopped Jimmu, who was injured, and went back to the cave again. He used the rope to fall down successfully. Then, like before, he collected the glowworms that can both light up and cure diseases. Then he came to the place where his father was sacrificed. He used armor and swords to set up a simple mechanism to make a sound to attract the evil dragon. At this time, the evil dragon was holding Floria and came to his child. "My little ones, I did not let you live. Nor shall I let Elodie, your sister, will come for you." The evil dragon didn't know at this time. He was fooled by the king's sinister trick. At this time, Yiluodi's mechanism was successfully activated and made a huge sound. As expected, it attracted the evil dragon's attention. When he left, Yiluodi, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't get out. But when he was thrown from a high place, his sister's leg was injured. Yiluodi could only help him to leave. As a result, they didn't take a few steps. The evil dragon suddenly came back. Yiluodi could only let his sister hide first and confront the evil dragon face to face. He knew that it was no good to touch him hard. "Where are you hiding? That won't kill me, but it will make me angry. We have both been lied to." More lies. If the evil dragon didn't believe Yiluodi, he judged through his blood. Yiluodi and all the girls in Jitian were the descendants of the old king who killed his child. But neither of them fell well. The evil dragon was pierced by the sword. Yiluodi was thrown into the water. After he got up, he wanted to get his weapon back and fight again. But he was imprisoned by the evil dragon. In order to let the other party experience the pain of losing his child, the evil dragon pierced Yiluodi's body with his claws. Unexpectedly, in the next second, his eyes were stabbed by a dagger. Then one person and one dragon fought again. Unfortunately, no one got any benefits. Yiluodi was getting weaker. He knew that if he didn't think of a way, he and his sister could only die here. Suddenly, he found that there was a kind of fluid phenomenon in the surrounding gas. So Yiluodi deliberately infuriated the evil dragon. I don't care about happiness. I love you. I love you. The evil dragon had never seen anyone who took the initiative to beg for death. Although he didn't understand, he still chose to respect. But the moment the flame was blown out, Yiluodi suddenly jumped aside. The flame that was originally prepared for him reflected on the evil dragon. He saw the other person lying on the ground and breathing heavily. Yiluodi raised his weapon and slowly approached. Then he raised his left hand and showed the wound that had been scratched on it. At the same time, he spoke out the conspiracy of the royal family. That is how they make us royal. That is the blood you smell. They fooled you. You've been killing innocent daughters just like they did. Then, end it. The evil dragon also understood at this time that he had always thought of revenge. In fact, all the victims were innocent girls. Yiluodi raised his sword but did not stab the evil dragon's body. He understood that the culprit was not the evil dragon. The real murderer was still on the run. So he took the glowworm and put it on the evil dragon. At most, the wound would heal. Iran and Ilong successfully allied. At the same time, in the palace, Prince Kengli was holding a wedding again. It seems that his resistance was still suppressed by the queen. When the two people on the stage were going to exchange rings, Yiluodi walked in from the outside. He revealed the conspiracy of the royal family and asked the bride to leave with her family. Many people on the scene were innocent. Yiluodi gave them a chance to leave. But the queen was still calm and said that she was not afraid of him at all. Unexpectedly, Yiluodi said, what you should be afraid of is not me but the evil dragon who was deceived by you. But even if the flame was burned to the body and even melted the crown, the queen still did not regret it. She did not feel that she was wrong. The members of the royal family were turned into ashes, and the whole palace was also plunged into the sea of fire. They were all under the anger of the evil dragon, and Yiluodi turned into ashes. When Yiluodi slowly walked out of the palace, the evil dragon on his head followed him all the way. After all the things were solved, Yiluodi took Jinmu and his sister back to their country by boat. But the situation in Jihan still made Jinmu worried. How should the people live in the future? Yiluodi said he had a way, because now he has the most compatible partner.